Hey, what's going on, everybody? All in channel, Jose Forever here. Yeah, the channel's back. I'm about to put out some new videos. As you guys can tell, if you guys have been checking out my channel lately, or been seeing if you have notifications, when it comes to my channel, if you have the notifications on, you see that I've been putting some stuff out when it comes to this brand new HP4 all-in-one PC that I got. Because I purchased this, I'm actually able to do a couple more videos. As you can see, I'm actually using StreamYard. Um, really want to try and take the channel to the next level. And I'm not saying I'm going to be doing like major upgrades to the videos and stuff like that, but given everything that I have right now, I'm definitely going to be working through this for the next couple of months, trying to get the channel a little bit in a better place, more upgraded, because I do have a lot of stuff to say. But the reason why I'm making this video is I really wanted to talk about the Bethesda Roundtable that I watched. When was it? I believe it came out yesterday or Wednesday. But if you guys did not know, it's been made official. Microsoft officially owns ZeniMax, which in turn means that they own Bethesda and all the studios that falls under the ZeniMax brand. So this is something that Microsoft and Bethesda talked about a little bit several months ago. Of course, when that announcement was made that Microsoft was buying Bethesda, it basically shook up the gaming community, and rightfully so. That was a big purchase. It's just one of those purchases. It was so huge. It's just one of those things that you don't think would happen in the gaming industry. That's usually something that people talk about on YouTube on channels like mine, right? For example, I'm a Sega guy, and I would love if Microsoft bought Sega. But this is something that's usually like a dream list. It never really happens, and Microsoft made that dream a reality last year. And like I said, it shook up the industry, and it shook it up pretty bad. Good and bad. If you're on the Xbox side, of course, it's good. If you're everybody else, depending on where you sit, though, of course. But that could be seen as it being bad, as you can tell by the hundreds of videos that was done. But yeah, this past week, the purchase actually went through. It was official, and Bethesda sat down with Microsoft, did a roundtable to discuss where they're gonna, facing future, what are they going to be doing in the next couple of months and years. And so I just wanted to kind of give my thoughts on it. Like I said, I absolutely enjoyed it. But before I get into like the things that I really want to talk about, what I'm looking forward to the most, let's get some of this housekeeping stuff out of the way first. Um, First and foremost, man, Phil Spencer is 100% exonerated. I know this guy, when he took over the games division, and then now he's the head of Xbox proper, right? Um, Phil's been put through the fire, man, and I'm not just talking about the haters. This Microsoft has their share of haters, and besides the Microsoft haters, you also have the Xbox haters, right? So Phil Spencer's been taking that. He's been taking it on the chin. But the thing that's probably the most interesting about all the hate Phil gets, he also gets it from the Xbox community. I will throw my hand up and say that I was one of the people not hating on it, but I've been hard on Microsoft. Because look, I've said this before in other videos. The reason why I got an Xbox One was because it was the all-in-one box, right? It was supposed to be the all-in-one system, because like I said before, I just don't game. I use my Xbox for a lot of other things, right? The media, everything, right? And so, that vision of what Microsoft wanted to be, losing the Kinect and all this kind of stuff. It's definitely not the same console it was in 2013, and that's the console that I actually bought. Now, fast forward to now, right? I understand a lot of the stuff that they did, but again, man, as not just a fan of Xbox, man, and the Xbox ecosystem, but a consumer. Dude, hey, what's up, Unlimited? I'm new to this, bro. I don't exactly know what I'm doing. So I didn't know that there was a. Oh yeah, there's a feed. See, there's a feed on it. Normally I do this on my phone, man. So now that I have a brand new computer, I can do it on my computer. And yeah, my bad, bro. I'm sorry. I just noticed the comment right there. See, that's what I'm talking about, bro. I gotta get up to speed on this stuff, especially if I'm gonna start talking about all this stuff. It's kind of crazy. Hey, Travis, man, what's up, dude? Oh, bro, long time no see, man. How you been, man? I seen that you posted up a video the other day, dude. Sorry I didn't get to check it out. I've been kind of busy, man. I've been trying to get to grips with all this stuff, man. I got a lot of appointments as well. But yeah, this is cool, dude. I actually can see the comments. Yeah, dude, this PC is no joke, man. I actually had to have my son kind of help me out with it. I got old man syndrome, bro. So, the great thing about this, man, is it's forcing me to learn how to use things. I've gotten so spoiled by having kids. Because, kids nowadays, man, they're not like us, bro. They know how to do all this stuff. Um, anytime I get a new phone or anything like that, dude, I get into the bad habit of just throwing it at my son and then he hooks it all up. And, I was kind of chastising my own self, man, because I need to learn how to do this stuff. Right? I'm the adult, man. I need to be watching them, right? I mean, they're good kids, man. I don't worry about them too much, but yeah, this thing's a beast, though. I'm not gonna lie. I actually have the camera, and I was gonna use it, but I couldn't figure out like how to get the best picture quality, and then plus it's like late where I'm at now, so I'm just trying to do this video, and the lighting's all off. So yeah, but it's pretty cool, man. I'm trying to set up all my stuff right now, and as you can see, I'm doing this video. So yeah, once I figure this out, man, I'm actually might, I've been liking StreamYard, so I might actually get a subscription to this so that I can bring the podcast back. I was on Sega Man's podcast earlier, and I was letting them know that I was gonna bring in my podcast back, which I used to do a couple years ago, man, and I used to actually talk about pop culture stuff, which is what I want to do again, especially with all the stuff going on in pop culture, man. It's getting crazy. Yeah, Travis, I know, man. Dude, this is yeah, I know. I see your videos, man. I try and watch them as much as possible, and I do a lot of gameplay stuff. Yeah, I'm learning as well, dude. It's you know, gotta get out of my comfort zone too, man. I'm just so I work with computers all day, man. It's I use them for my job all the time, dude. So when I come home, man, I just rather jump on the games. And like a lot of guys who game, you know what I mean? If you have limited time and you actually want to spend that time doing gaming. For me personally, man, I just had a lot of stuff going on. With all this stuff going on with the coof, as you like to call it, right? You guys know what I'm talking about, and I've had my own appointments and all this kind of stuff going on. So yeah, but thanks for joining me, man. But basically, I was just gonna talk about just doing this video talking about Bethesda, and like I said, I was on Sega Man's podcast earlier, and we talked about it, and had a good time with those guys as always. Thanks for having me on. It was nice of them to do that. But I kind of want to get a little bit more personal thoughts on the Bethesda thing. Like I was saying, man. Kudos to Phil Spencer, dude. This dude's been, he's been the face of Xbox for like the last 5 years, right? And I said this before in a previous video. I saw an interview with him in 2015, and when I watched that interview, I really got a feel for what he was trying to say, and that he was looking at a bigger picture than what was going on at the moment. And if you guys are like Xbox, like me, Unlimited, Travis, man, I know you play Xbox, but I know you're not into the console war stuff. But me and Unlimited, we've been in the trenches for a long time. So in 2015, man, it was bad. It was 2013, 2014, 2015. But then Microsoft, with their Xbox division, they were course correcting. And one of the best things they did was put Phil Spencer at the head of that, put him in charge. And he never looked back, dude. But he did this interview where he was talking about things on a larger, grander scale, like a bigger scope. And dude, he was taking it, man. Every interview he did, all the hate from the other side, and even the fans, man. Guys was giving him a hard time, and he just stayed the course. He never got distracted. And he's just focused, man. He focused, and he came up with a game plan of what he wanted to do. And he never left that game plan. I mean, there's some hiccups along the way, that we can talk about. But overall, man, he's done an amazing job. And when I was watching that Bethesda roundtable, man, just seeing Phil sit there, man, I think he can kind of sit back a little bit more and cruise, man. I know they're busy. I know he's got a lot of stuff to do. they got a lot of stuff in the works, which is great for us, right? As like I always say, as consumers and fans. But yeah, dude, he is 100% exonerated in my book, man. The dude has proven himself. I used to be like that with Kevin Feige over at Marvel when they started the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I was, and I'll try and say this, man. I'm not a hater, but as a fan, like I'm pretty sure you guys can identify this, man. As a fan of anything, right? When you're a fan of something, you love it so much that it's personal, right? It's something that's a part of you, and that's something that you want to see treated properly. Um, and when Kevin Feige was doing the MCU, man, some of the stuff that he was doing, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it, and it wasn't until Guardians of the Galaxy came out um, that I understood what his vision was, and so I use that as an example because it's the same thing for me with Phil Spencer, right? When I watched that 2015 interview, um, I believe that when he was looking at the bigger picture, it made me open my eyes to where Microsoft sat in the gaming sphere as far as the big three companies, or what we consider the big three companies, right? PC excluded. Because when I talk about video gaming, I talk about it more from a console perspective. I don't put PC in that realm, even though Microsoft is making us do that right now. But at that time, it was Xbox, PlayStation, and it was the Wii, right? Or what do they have now? Yeah, the Switch, whatever Nintendo has going right now. And just listening to him made me realize that he didn't look at PlayStation and Nintendo as their rivals. He looked at them as part of the business. And he was looking outside at the bigger picture, right? Like the Amazons and the Googles and the Apples and stuff like that. And once I realized that, yeah, sorry, Travis, man. Yeah, dude, I wish I could play a little bit more online. Hopefully I'll get my schedule together and I'll be doing that. But yeah, man, I miss you too, bro. Man, we gotta get together, dude. We gotta start talking, man. I'm hard back in the church and everything like that, man. We gotta start sharing scripture and stuff, brother. We gotta build ourselves up, man, especially in these times that we're living in. But yeah, man, go to bed, bro. Take it easy, get a rest, man. Get your health there. I know it's something you gotta deal with, man. But I'll be praying for you, bro. All right, brother. Yeah, but it just gave me the perspective. The way he talked about it, it's just like he just put Xbox, and because they belong to Microsoft too, right? They were just on a level that was above everybody else. I'm not saying that to be like they're all high and mighty and stuff like that. It's just the reality of it because they're a big business. They're one of the biggest businesses, right? And every year, dude, from 2015, 2016, he would just stay that course, man. No matter what people were saying, dude. No matter how much times Ryan McCaffrey would talk trash, or IGN would write crap articles, man, or all these gaming sites would jump on, dude. Even sites that are not even gaming would write about Xbox, dude. Either because they don't like Microsoft or the Xbox, or they're PlayStation fanboys, or to get clicks. Either way, it's bad, right? Whatever one of those you choose, it's a bad take. But dude, kudos to Phil Spencer, man. He stayed the course, man, and there's not a lot of people that could do that. And to me, man, he always will get my ultimate respect, for real talk, because he was able to weather that storm. And not just weather the storm, man, but just implement the plans that he wanted to do. Now, I know Satya Nadella and Microsoft's vision and the way that they kind of course corrected as a whole made it a little bit more easier for Phil. But Phil had to still fight, and there's a lot of stories that you can read out there about where the position that Xbox, the part of the Microsoft company of Xbox, was as a whole, and the company as a whole, and Phil had some challenges, man. But it was funny because when they bought Mojang, the guys who do Minecraft, that was a good indicator of how Microsoft would back them. That's what we had right there. And dude, it's been like I don't want to say it's a roller coaster ride, but it's been like a rocket ship, blasting off straight into space, man. You hit the atmosphere and then the stratosphere, and then boom, we're gone, dude. We're out there, and that's all thanks to Phil Spencer. So, just quick shout out to Phil. Enjoyed seeing him on the round table, man. He had the he had the visage of a man that is in control, right? And he's enjoying it. That's what I love about him. You know, he's a happy-go-lucky guy. Sometimes he's a little bit too happy-go-lucky for my taste, like I said. But guys like me, guys like Unlimited, um, Mr. 100, Hebot, man, Sega Man, NWO Prime, dude, all of us on the hardcore Xbox guys. Um, we're in the trenches, man. We deal with this all the time. In fact, sometimes you got to step away, man, because it could drive you nuts. But you know, we're in that fight, right? And Phil Spencer, being the good general that he is, man, he saw where we were. He understood what was going on, and he would send little messages and stuff like that. Even though at the time we wanted the big guns, man. But now we don't have to worry, dude, because the big guns. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, sorry. Yeah, outside. You know, we got the big guns down, man. The ball's definitely in our court, and we're gonna move it forward. So, you know, kudos again to Phil Spencer, man. Good job, man. I'm pretty sure I don't need to tell you that, dude. You know, you definitely know what you're doing. And you know, and another thing that this does, man, is it just kills this narrative that Xbox has no games. You know, that's dead. It's been dead for a while, right? But as you know, dude, the way our gaming media is, the way our mainstream media is, you know, these guys are dirty, man. Hey, what's up, Mr. Kima? Yeah, you've been, dude, you have been in here since the very beginning, bro. I remember when I first came on YouTube, you was here, and thanks for being there, bro. Because you know, some of our brethren, man, some of our uh, some of our knights of the round table, man, they didn't last. You know, it was kind of sad, man. I mean, we had the 2013 date, man, but along the way, we've lost a lot of people. Um, and you know, it's been bittersweet at times, man. Like I said, but you know, now it's time for us to enjoy it, right? And for again, the people that says Xbox has no games, games is dead, man. You know, the media, the fanboys and stuff like that. Microsoft has done such a great job of retooling, you know, their whole process when it comes to gaming. Um, you know, like I said, man, some of us Xbox guys, we was kicking and screaming. We were going with them, man, but we was kicking and screaming all the way. You know, like kids that a parent has to just drag along with them, man. You know, and but you know, it wasn't easy for them, man. But you know, they fought all of that, dude, and now you see it, dude. You see it because what's happening is there's no place for anybody else to go right now. You know, in fact, people that just hate on Xbox just to hate them, and hate on Microsoft and what they do, just to hate on them for what they do. Um, you know, they basically paint themselves into a corner. And what's happening now is they just kind of rehash old, they're rehashing old narratives, man. And the sad thing about it is, you know, everybody sees it now. And one of the reasons why we know that it's changed um, is because if you go on, when I go on YouTube now, and then I click on something like looking for the Bethesda Roundtable, and then all these videos pop up, and you know we get other videos talking about Xbox and Bethesda and stuff like that before, but the difference being is that a lot of them are more positive, right? And that just goes to show how Microsoft stayed the course and changed the narrative at the ground level, man, organically, right? You people complained about all kind of stuff, and some of that was legitimate. People have legitimate complaints, man. A lot of it was hate, but people were legitimate complaints, and regardless if they were legitimate or they were just hate, Microsoft just looked at that and they said, okay, well we'll do better, and they just did it, no matter what it was, right? Um, and they just kept on doing it, dude. They were doing everything. So all the criticism that Microsoft has, you know, the lack of power, overpriced, you know, we didn't want this camera, we didn't want that. Microsoft just did what everybody wanted, and basically, um, you know, like I said, it was rough, right? Because we would get the brunt end of that, like just taking that, you know, verbal abuse from the other side, and then, but as they were doing that, man, they just basically, you know, gave all the haters out there no other way. Um, Gave all the haters out there no other option, no other place to go to complain. Right? You just basically can't complain about it. The only thing that you can say is that Xbox is not your system of choice. You don't care for some of the stuff that they do, right? which is fine, man. Which is what everybody should have said in the beginning, man. It's just like, I don't really hate on PlayStation. It's just not, God of War and all that stuff. Just not where I'm at right now, dude. It's just more stuff on Xbox that I like, and I've been that way for a while now. Even before, man. Even when I was when Sega went publisher, man. That's when I lost that fight, man, it broke my heart, dude. But when Sega became a publisher, man, I was already gravitating towards Xbox. The thing that helped me go full on into Xbox as far as being a consumer of their product was, I bought into the online stuff, whether it was MechAssault or especially Halo. Um, and of course, Call of Duty when that hit, man, that hit big and that hit hard, and I was a huge fan of that. Yeah, dude, the Xbox is not looked at like a joke anymore, man. And again, dude, I gotta credit Xbox to that. I mean, look, dude, guys like me, you and me, we've been in here, we've been duking it out with guys. But I mean, we gotta just say, man, Xbox just like, dude, it has the most powerful console. Everything that they complained about Xbox One when it first launched, you can't say that anymore, dude. Because you just look at what we have, the Series X. I have that sitting on my 4K television upstairs in my room, and when I turn that thing on, dude, it's just, look, dude, I ain't gonna say I'm gonna tear up when I see that, man, but it just makes me appreciate, dude, how far we've come. As a gaming community on the Xbox side, dude, to go from, and again, I know like you, man, I don't have any problems. I didn't have any problems with the Xbox One. I loved it. But to go from the Xbox One to the Xbox Series X, man, and to see that, to look back and just appreciate everything that Microsoft went to make gaming what it is, man, currently. Look, there is no other option for people when it comes to Game Pass. There just isn't. That's Xbox. That's 100% unadulterated. I mean, for a lot of people, compared to Netflix and like anything else that is a streaming service now, Netflix, it gets compared to Netflix, and that's what's going to happen with Game Pass. But the difference is that people can get compared to Netflix, but it's another thing to do something to get to that level. And with the Bethesda thing, getting back on Bethesda, man, that's probably one of the most amazing things I've seen with the Bethesda deal, man. They just dropped like what 20 games. I like most Xbox guys. I do own a majority of the games, but still, man, it's just not for hardcore guys like us who will buy the game anyway. I mean, I bought so many games off of Game Pass. It's not even funny. I mean, it's probably one of the best marketing tools. Aside from being all the things it does for gamers, man, it's an awesome marketing tool, man. It takes us back to the days of the discs they used to pack in magazines, those demo discs. But again, Microsoft is more than just a gimmick they use to sell games, dude. I mean, it's got a ton of stuff in there. It's got their first party stuff, man. It's got a variety. They're constantly keeping it in flow. They're constantly keeping it in flux. Um, man, whoever is doing the analytics on that, man, that dude needs a raise, big time. Because gamers can be fickle, dude. They can be fickle. Especially with the way gamers are now, man. I mean, gamers aren't, like when we were growing up, dude. They're just different. They're not as, you know, hardcore as we are. And I'm not saying that they have to be, but it's a sign of the times, right? And so for Microsoft, they have a lot of things to juggle, man, to keep people happy. I know that much. I've been, I'm an OG gamer, so I've been happy with a lot of the stuff that they've been doing. As far as that, like the inclusiveness of the ID at Xbox program, which I've been enjoying. Look, Unlimited, man. I know you've been like me, man. We've been gaming for years, dude. So we need something, dude. We can get easily jaded with some of this stuff, and we need stuff to kind of like reawaken our zeal to get back into gaming for what it is. And that ID at Xbox program, man, I mean, it might have started as a one-off for Sony and Xbox at the beginning of the generation, but Xbox was serious about it. They took a lot of heat about that, and they tried to address it, but somewhere along the line, man, and when they put Chris Charland there, that dude took that to the next level, to where it's to me, I won't say, I'll put it right up there with the first party studio stuff, man. But just for the variety, man. And then including it in Game Pass to give it even more, give Game Pass more weight, give make people realize that Game Pass isn't a waste of money, especially for the cost, you know. And again, going back to Bethesda, just dude, all their games, boom, just right in the service. That's crazy to me, man. That is crazy to me, dude. And like I said before, man, the only thing I see that Game Pass is missing is those originals. If you like, I have a subscription to Crunchyroll and I have a subscription to Netflix, right? Now, I'm not trying to say that Microsoft has to be like that, but it would be nice if they do have originals like those streaming services have. I know it's a little bit different on the gaming end in a sense, because at one end, dude, you don't want to get the originals where people are just playing that, and then your third party guys get left out on the side, right? It's a little bit different with the with the movie, or if they do a TV series and stuff like that on a streaming service. The gaming is a little bit more complex than that, but if they can figure out a way to make it work, I think it'll be great it'll take Game Pass to that ultimate level that it needs to be. For example, right, if they pick up some of these independent studios, like let's just use I'll just because this is the only thing coming up the top of my head. If they had Cuphead, right, and they made it exclusive because it's in Game Pass, instead of letting it go out to other companies, which again, Microsoft doesn't own them, but by them buying up all these studios and they can get these games and put them in Game Pass, where people can feel like, okay, I don't have to buy the game. It's not going to come on any other system, so I have my Xbox already. But you know what? Since it's in that gaming system, and I only pay like maybe what $9-10 a month or however. I can't remember how much we pay, man, because I turned all my stuff in and I got this thing in 2022. But when that person's thinking about that, is like, yeah, dude, I'll just keep the system because I'll just keep the service because all of that I have it already. Right. And for like gamers like us, dude, you could play the game on the service, and then if you're a hardcore collector like Sega Man, right? So I can't say that about Sega Man because you'll buy it day one, and I know you would too. But just say you don't have the cash, or you want to buy something else, or something else comes up, right? And something happens at the house, and you got to pay for that, so you don't pick up the game right away. Then later on, when that goes on sale, you can actually get the hard copy, even though you have a digital copy on your Xbox or in Game Pass. So that's probably one of the biggest things I saw with that when they picked up Bethesda, and I was like, "That's why, dude. Dude. You guys know I'm Sega forever, man. Right? So if Microsoft was to announce that they picked up, like they purchased Sega, and not just purchase Sega, but they do with Sega what they've been doing with all these other developers, man. They grab them, right, and then find a way to work with some of the with Sega themselves, but also some of the people that Sega worked with in the past, and get some of these old school games on the Game Pass. Can you imagine if you had Vector Man on Game Pass, right? And then you put a game like Vector Man in Game Pass, which there's a hardcore fan base that still loves that game, right? There's people still buying the Genesis now to play that game. You put something like that in there, and then the sky's the limit, right? Then you can add an additional game to it, get like a smaller studio to work on a sequel to it, or even better yet, like what they did with Final Fight, right? You get the studio come in and mix the old with the new, man, upgrade it and make it better than what the original. I mean, nothing can replace the original, but make it something more than just a carbon copy, right? And that's the kind of stuff I think about when I see a deal like Bethesda going through. I mean, yeah, I am a Sega fanboy, and I would like that to happen, but just imagine if they bought Sega, dude, the endless possibilities of just, dude, you imagine if they had like if they had any dude, if they had Power Stone, imagine Power Stone. I mean, I know that's a Capcom game, right? But imagine Power Stone was on Game Pass, dude. You don't think people would buy an Xbox, dude? And the funny thing about it is, because of the way Power Stone is, right? You don't even have to buy the Series X or S, dude. You can buy an Xbox One S or Xbox One X, dude. I still have my S and my X's, right? Somebody could buy that cheap or get it secondhand from a cousin or some uncle or whatever, right? And then just plug it into your TV, get a subscription to Game Pass, do boom, all the games right there. Can you imagine if that like Choo Choo Rocket, dude, that game was amazing. They're just like Ready to Rumble. Yeah, Dreamcast has so many games on there. And then they could take it back to the Saturn. The Saturn I would absolutely love, man, because I would love them to put Shining Force Heroes. The Shining Force Heroes, Shining Force 3. Shining Force 3, and we got one. There's like a 3-part story to that. So part 1 released here, and then parts 2 and 3 was only in Japan. And then I know they were planning to do part two, but then decided wasn't doing good, right? And so then Sega just went with the Dreamcast, and then that never got realized. So when I see something like Bethesda happen, a purchase like that, that's where my mind goes to. And look, dude, I know I get a lot of people talking crap to me online too when I say stuff like that, but I don't care. That's what I would like to see. That would be for me, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, dude. there's like so many classic Sega games that if you brought them to the forefront right now, that a lot of people would be amazed by, especially given the way people are consuming games in this day and age. And like I said, um, what was I saying? So if they got those games and maybe they updated it and stuff like that, or just start another series, get a more talent, get another talented studio to work with it. Again, that's where my mind goes to. Um, and then the other thing I noticed when they were talking about it, and like I say, us Xbox guys know this because we've seen it firsthand because we follow Xbox and Microsoft and Bethesda, mostly on the Xbox side. But through the various E3s, through when Bethesda has a launching their games and stuff like that, Microsoft is always there. Either Phil Spencer's in the picture, Aaron Greenberg, Major Nelson is talking it up on his podcast. They're one of the first developers to be on the stage when Microsoft is launching a new console or at our E3s and stuff like that. So they've had this synergy for years now, man. And again, man, I recommend everybody go watch that roundtable because I heard some stuff I never knew before, like how um, Microsoft helped them way back in the day when they were a fledgling studio and stuff like that. And that's something I guess that Bethesda remembered, man, and they never let that relationship go sour either on either side, man. And you know as well as I do, man, that sometimes just like with Sega and Working Design, or Sega Camelot, or it's some of these developers and these publishers, man, they build these relationships, but they go south, and just they have bad breakups and stuff like that, which sucks. Because the gamers ultimately end up suffering for those kind of things. But these guys have weathered the storm and stayed the course. So much so that they talked about the engineers and stuff at Microsoft. That's Todd Howard and his crew, man. That's the first people to go talk to, and Todd Howard them were like straight up honest with him. And you have a good relationship with a person, man, when you can be brutally honest with that person. And that person, they might not like it, they might not like what you're saying, they might hurt them, but they respect you enough to listen to you. And when you build a relationship like that, dude, this deal is a no-brainer, man. Again, if you're on the outside looking in, um, or your system of choice is now threatened because maybe you are a PlayStation guy, but you only play Skyrim or something like that. You play like you get your God of War, but then the games that you basically play like God of War or what's the other game? Last of Us or something like that, right? But then most of the other times you're either playing COD, For Honor, any of Bethesda's game, right? You're playing all these third-party games, so you get your cake and eat it too in that sense. But in this case, right, if you're hardcore on the Bethesda stuff, dude, you're gonna I don't know what to tell you, bro. Just you're gonna have to buy an Xbox, and there's nothing wrong with them. And if you really like the game, if there's anything on Sony that I really liked, that I really wanted to play, then I would get a PlayStation. But there isn't anything. That's one of the reasons I don't buy it. That and because I support Microsoft because so many people hate on them, right? Because Microsoft is where I prefer to play. So since that's where I want to spend my time on, that's where I'm going to spend my energy and money on. But I bought a Switch. I bought a Switch to play Animal Crossing, man. It's like one of my favorite Nintendo games. A lot of the games that I don't mess with Nintendo a lot because a lot of the games that I like on Nintendo aren't there anymore. Look, they got their Zeldas, they got their Pokemons, they got their Mario, but I kind of grew out of that too. I was more into like their Pikmins and some of the other games that they did. Dude, I love the F-Zero game, and I love the F-Zero game that they did with Sega. Man, I thought that was probably the best F-Zero game ever made. So I've kind of outgrown Nintendo, and I've gone past PlayStation. They're just not the same company. Back when I used to play PlayStation, they're not that company anymore, right? And then I ended up gravitating to Microsoft because I'm a Sega guy. Because Microsoft approaches it like Sega would approach stuff. Difference, of course, like I said before, is Microsoft actually has money, and Sega did it. Sega, there was definitely more on the creative side. They really need somebody to rein into that spending. That really hurt them. With Microsoft, at least we don't have that problem. Like I said before, man, Microsoft has superpower would be money. Yeah. So again, what I'm looking for. So just to wrap it up really quickly, guys. Yeah, I say quickly. How many minutes has it been? Well, anyway, just my final point then, and then we'll call it a night. Um, But the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to in this relationship with Microsoft ZeniMax, Bethesda and all the other studios that are going to be coming under the umbrella, is that synergy, man. Like I just talked about, they have a great relationship. They've always had a great relationship. It's gone through not just with Bethesda, but through all the other studios as well. And I think Microsoft has a great track record right now because if you look at the studios they have under their umbrella right now, prior to this purchase, right? When you talk to the guys who do State of Decay or the guys who do Sea of Thieves, um, how Microsoft's reached out across the board. I mean, and border literally, right? They Japan and England and guys up in Canada, all this kind of stuff, right? I think those studios coming on board are excited because of the possibilities as well. And like I said, I want that synergy there because I just, I might be overthinking this. I probably am. I don't want to project too much, and I don't want to get people excited. Okay, so everybody, please take this when I'm saying with a grain of salt. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but what I would love to see, and I talked about this on the podcast with Segaman and Hebot and Tuck. I just don't want this to be a partnership of convenience, like people are painting it out to be. Like for some reason, narrative is like Bethesda was going downhill. Of course, it's going downhill because now they're with Microsoft. If they weren't with Microsoft, they'd be fine. That this is a partnership out of convenience. There might be some of that in there, man, or with the financials and all that kind of stuff, but that's business, right? But not just a partnership out of convenience or just it's all about the money, um, or there's they're passing on the reins and all this kind of stuff. No, dude, what I want this to be is a relationship that they can build on. Number one, right? That they can explore different experiences together. Number two, because if they do that, then and what I mean by experiences is like um, going beyond what they're doing right now, like their IPs as they are. Because what I'd like to see ultimately with this synergy is that they make games specifically cater towards their fan base, their consumer, and definitely the end user, which are the guys that are on Xbox, and of course PC, right? So overall, if I have an Xbox One S or One X, or should I say Series X? I'll go with the Series X. If I have an Xbox Series X, right, with all the 4K, all the power in the hood, all that kind of stuff, right, and then they're creating a game, like Bethesda's creating a game. I want them to create a game that not only takes advantage of the full power, but they find different ways to implement stuff that makes that game very unique and a unique experience on the Xbox Series X that can only be experienced on the Xbox Series X. And not something that's gimmicky, man. Something that's kind of world changing. Something that's real. Something that's people can actually touch, right? One of the examples I'll give is when the Xbox One came out, we had the Kinect, and they were putting features in the Kinect that I thought were really cool. Of course, wow, what's the game now? I'm drawing back. Dead Rising, right? Jeez, I'm getting old. So you had a game like Dead Rising, and the kind of cool thing about Dead Rising, right, is it was interactive with the Kinect where you could make noises and stuff like that to distract the zombies, right? Or you could like motion on the camera so you motion in front of the camera to make it look like you're tapping on something, and then that would distract the zombies, and then you can go around. It would give you options, or you could just, Dead Rising being what it was, you could just go in there and just whack people. But it's just those little things that they did right now. Back then, people were saying that this stuff was gimmicky. The stuff with Skyrim, right, where you could shout out the spells and stuff like that. I want things like that, but to the next level. I think we're at a point now where that's doable, and I'm hoping. I don't want to put any words in Microsoft or Phil's mouth or stuff like that, but from what I've been seeing with what he's been talking about and the future of what they want the gaming division to be, I think that that's something that's doable, right? That's something that's not out of our grasp, out of reach. To actually have a game that if I buy it for the Xbox Series X, when I play it on the Series X, there's going to be things in that game that is just for me on the Series X that I can experience because it takes advantage of the full suite of stuff that the Series X is offering us on top of some of the stuff they build into it. So like, say like, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, I just say like you had one of the the studio games go third party. And then they got somebody else to produce it for another console, like say like the Switch or even the PlayStation. We use that. Because a lot of these are going to PC as well. But when it does, you're just going to kind of get a version of the game that's for that system, right? Whereas if you have it for the Xbox Series X, that is the definitive edition, right? That has features in there that you can't experience anywhere else except on that Series X. And that's what I would be looking forward to. That's what I was thinking when I was watching the roundtable. On top of all the stuff of them, some of the studios have already worked together that's been on the Microsoft side. But imagine, man, like my two favorite IPs on it with Microsoft that they have is number one is Halo, right? But number two is Fable. And being as Bethesda has worked on Skyrim and stuff like that, and I'm saying that they take over and they make Fable like Skyrim, but there's some insight, there's some experience, right? There's some tricks they probably know when they create these open world games with RPGs that they could share with the guys doing Fable, right? And then help them take that to the next level. A perfect example to me is Forza Horizon, which to me is top. I said this on Sega Man's podcast, man, and Sega Man talked about this, and I agree with him 100%. That to me is the top tier racing game. Because of not just because it's a racing game, the mechanics, everything's tight, the graphics, all that stuff, but it's just what it offers just a person as a gamer, right? They give you so many options that anybody can play that game, right? And you just don't get a game like that on any other console, man. Some have tried, man, but nobody can because of all the groundwork that Microsoft and Turn 10 Studios have put into that game, based off of the older games and stuff like that, especially in the Forza series. But I'm saying, there is just no racing game like Forza Horizon, man. There just isn't, man. I mean, across the board. And when you have that type of connection with these studios, man, I mean, you bring in somebody like Bethesda, man. Like I said, the sky's the limit. So to me, that's the upside, and that upside is gonna influence everything, dude. It's gonna influence Game Pass, the online service, man, the consoles moving forward, or whatever Microsoft's gonna build. They're basically building like their own little kingdom. I mean, Microsoft itself is as big as it is, man. The Xbox is becoming like a big. It's just like you live in the U.S., man, but then you have big states like Texas or big states like California, New York, right? Just think of Microsoft as the U.S., man, with all these different entities and stuff like that, and then the Xbox is becoming one of the biggest ones. Not just in profit, man, but just in tech and everything, man. It's interesting to me that Satya Nadella. I knew we were on the right track because I watched the keynote speech with Satya Nadella. I just like listening to the man speak, dude. I'm not gonna lie. That dude was made to lead a company, And then when he talks about stuff, it's so visionary, man. I love listening to people like that, like Elon Musk. I like listening to him to speak because it reminds me of like the old school dudes, man, like a Walt Disney, right? Or even Stan Lee, man. When Stan Lee used to talk about comic books, he talked about comic books outside of what comic books were, right? And I think that's what comic books is missing now, dude. That type of visionary. Right, there's a lot of talented people in comic books. There's a lot of business people that can make money in comic books. There's all of that stuff there, man. But there's no visionaries, and that's why it's dying. That's why it's dying because there's no Stan Lee's, man. There's no Walt Disney's. So, when I listen to somebody like Satya, man, that's what I think of. I'm old, bro. I'm old school. And when I listen to Satya, man, that's what I think about, man. How he's able to get the bigger picture and then also draw you into that bigger picture. Because I remember him giving the keynote, man. He actually showed the chip that was in the Scorpio, man. And he made reference to that in the Microsoft thing, dude, which we all know back in the day would not have happened. Right? And it's not just Xbox is not just that, or their game series, not just some offshoot, dude. It's part of the family. And they draw from that, man. Like Xbox can draw from the technical side, and then the tech guys can draw from the gaming side. And it's just one big, just one big mix of everything that's needed to push the company forward as a whole. Dude, man, it's crazy, man. That was a huge announcement, dude. I'm sorry, I didn't mean this video to run long, guys. We just did. Like I said, I'm kind of new to this. It's weird seeing it on a screen, man. It seems so much more complete than doing it on the phone. I'm not gonna lie. I was actually, like I said, I was gonna use my camera, but the lighting was gonna be bad. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up, man. Thanks for stopping by for those guys who did. Daking and Unlimited, man, dude. Um, when I was on Sega Man's podcast, dude, I was talking about the podcast. You're more than welcome to jump on, bro. I know you. I know you're more on the DC guy, man. I see you Green Lantern, John Stewart, Green Lantern. Yeah, dude. I'll do that. I'll put that together, man. You're more than welcome to come on board, and we can duke it out, dude. I mean, I have no. I'm a Marvel guy. You might be a DC guy, but I'm a comic book guy at heart. But I mean, if you we could duke out stuff, man. I mean, I don't know though, man. I find myself more gravitating towards the DC side anymore with some of the stupid stuff Marvel's doing. Still love them though, you know. Like I was gonna do something talk about WandaVision and just all the crap going on with Star Wars, man. That was crazy. Um, Kind of sad, but at the same time. But yeah, I'll let you know, dude. I'll definitely just let me come to grips with this stuff. I might have to like get my son to help me because I'm old and my son knows how to do all this stuff. So yeah, guys. Anyway, thanks for joining me, man. More videos to come. Um, yeah, so all in channel. Sega forever. We out.